James Robilliard led a session at the GBdoc conference. James, what was your session about?
The session was on helping people who live with diabetes but not necessarily themselves having it. It's the partners and the families who also needed support.
And what sort of issues were raised?
Well, as a group we came together, discussed the things that we've known, and we realised that having diabetes affects how you are with people. So if you're a partner with someone with diabetes or a family member, then the interactions can get a bit unusual. And in that sense, I mean, there can be anger, there can be aggressive behaviour, even though it's not often, but it's knowing how to deal with these and how to help and how to make things better for everyone. You know, just knowing certain things can make people's lives easier or better.
And these instances are brought on by hypos or
hypos and hypers. As the blood sugars go outside what would be a normal range for a typical person, and that's sort of defining what diabetes is, then it affects your moods. So you can get angry, you can get confused, and you need help. But you're still a human being. You are there as yourself, but kind of in a confused state. And partners have to live with that, but also try and help. But without it getting too awkward, it can be quite confusing. So my aim was to set up a group where we could all tell each other what we've come across, what's happened, and how we coped with it, in the hope that expressing how we cope with it will help others cope with this. Because even though it can be quite a rare occurrence, it's how to deal with it when it does happen.
And how do you deal with it when it happens?
Well, you've got to find what works in a way. So for things like if someone's having a hypo, what they really need to do is drink a sugary drink. But if they're in a confused state, they may not realise they need to do this. So it's telling and sharing little tips, like make sure that they have it readily accessible at bedtime, so it's on the bedside table, making sure that it's a drink they like. It's simple things like that. Because you hear stories when they tell you that they didn't like the sugary version of the drink. They may like the diet version, but they didn't actually like the sugary version. So when they wake up with the hypo in the confused state, they don't want to drink it. And you've got to try and make them drink it because they need to. And they eventually they do, and they come round, and then you get through it. But you could very easily just make that easier by having a drink that they like, and it's just little tips like that.
And how does knowing these things affect the relationship and the people in it?
Well, knowing these little tips as we share, they help relationships because they just eliminate that sort of little hitch, the little niggle that comes along. Knowing the best way to deal with something for your partner helps them get through the process and bring themselves to a normal range faster. So it just smooths everything out, it makes everything calmer, and it generally just helps everyone a little bit.
James, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.